The Charlo brothers, Jermall and Jermall, the twins, Jermall and Jermall, Charlo. Both started off fighting at 154. Both were champions at that weight class. Didn't want to unify because they didn't want to fight each other. So Jermall moved up to middleweight. Had a little run there. Didn't fight anyone specific, fighting a lot of nobodies per se. But because he moved up as an unbeaten WBC champion of junior middleweight, that's what allowed him to get himself number one in the WBC rankings. And then when Canelo moved from middleweight up to super middleweight, he then became an email champion and got that WBC belt. Meanwhile, his brother was in the weight class below and he became undisputed. Before that, they were both talking about how they want to fight Canelo, want to fight Canelo, want to fight Canelo. Canelo decides that he will fight middleweight Charlo. But middleweight Charlo then says, I have mental health issues, I've got problems in life. I think his wife left him around that type of time as well. And so the smaller one at super welterweight, junior middleweight, who was undisputed there, said, I'll go and fight Canelo so we can do undisputed versus undisputed. And then produced a very unmotivated, lackluster performance running from Canelo for the whole fight. So after he loses, he celebrates the fact that he survived. That was a joke. He hasn't fought since. But Big Charlo, Jermall Charlo, in and around that same type of time, had an altercation with Caleb Plant in some backstage part of a fight or a weigh-in that was happening. I don't think it was involving him. I can't exactly remember who the fight was. I'm not doing the research to find out. Just know that they had an altercation and Charlo tugged on... Charlo tugged on Caleb Plant's beard, and as he done that, Caleb Plant slapped him back in his face. He didn't do anything. He walked off and he was like, I don't believe men try to slap me, whatever, whatnot. And he walked off. This was in the height of this mental problems that he was having. Okay? So he walked off and everyone was like, how are you letting this guy slap you in your face and you ain't doing anything? So fast forward to now, Jermall's back. And him and Caleb Plant are trying to build a fight between each other. So the past weekend, PBC put on a card with those two on the card. Jermall Charlo was the co-main event, and he TKO'd a guy called Thomas Lamena. They call him Cornflake Lamena. TKO in the 6th round of their fight. But Caleb Plant went the distance with Jose Resendez, and he lost a split decision. Now, Caleb Plant was in his fight, and after about 3 or 4 rounds, he realized that this was a serious fight. And he got hurt and stumbled in there a couple of times and basically lost the fight. Now, Jose Resendez is a pressure fighter type boxer, and he came up from middleweight for this fight. And now he's beaten Caleb Plant. He's put himself to be mandatory for the WBA. So he's now mandatory to fight Canelo, interim champion. I don't understand how he's interim when there's already a champion there, but he's basically in place to fight Canelo next. Where Caleb Plant was supposed to be fighting Jermall Charlo, and Jermall Charlo said after the fight,
You know, I'm not here to bash nobody, talk down on nobody, but yeah, Caleb Plant dropped the ball on this one. I want my leg back. I still want my leg back. I don't care if you got the belt or not. We can make a belt. They can make a belt. Somebody make a belt. I want my leg back.
Caleb Plant was very humble in his defeat, but that's a setback with this whole Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo fight that the PBC were trying to build. To be fair to you, no one cared. No one was even calling for this fight. No, I didn't hear anyone saying that they want to see Caleb Plant fight Jermall Charlo, even after the fact that he slapped Jermall Charlo so disrespectfully in that backstage part of wherever they were. That was very disrespectful, that slap. But no one still wanted to see that fight. But he's still trying to push for that fight. And I don't really care to see that fight, but I just thought that it was funny that Caleb Plant lost this fight after they were trying to build them up to fight each other. Now, Caleb Plant is called Sweet Hands, and he's a bit of a pure boxer, pugilist specialist, but he does like to get in there a bit sometimes. He just seems to always fade out coming to the end of the fight, the last 4 or 5 rounds. When he wins, when he loses, it's always the same thing. And in this fight, it was no different. The only difference was that he was also hurt going down the stretch of the fight. I think he got hurt in the 6th round. I think it was a 6th round where he really got beaten a bit. Really took a bit of a beating in the 6th round. And from then on in, it was just downhill. They gave it a split decision. One judge did try to give it to Caleb Plant, but the other 2 overruled it with scores of 112, 116. What happens now for Caleb Plant? Who knows? He will come back. This is his profession. He doesn't seem to be a guy that is governed by his losses. I do rate Caleb Plant because he is one of these modern boxers that actually stand on business and they don't take no rubbish. It's just that he's not as good as his energy is. So he will lose, and that's how it happened. But maybe they're talking about having a rematch. I don't care to see this rematch. He beat you, bro. It's over. You don't need to rematch this guy. You might get knocked out next time. You might actually get knocked out next time. Because now Jose Resendez is very confident and he'll probably put the pressure on a bit more and get you out of there. So maybe try to still get this fight with Jermall Charlo that nobody wants to see. But that's what happened this weekend. It's good to see Jermall Charlo back. It looks like he's mended his demons. He did sound a bit inebriated in some of the pre-fight interviews. He seemed like he's on some stuff, but who knows? I'm not going to put that on him. I'm not going to assume that he's taking any type of recreational drugs or anything. I'm going to leave that to everybody else to assume. It's just that he looked very inebriated in some of these pre-fight interviews that he was having and the press conferences before the fights and stuff like that. But we'll see what happens going forward with Jermall Charlo, if he's actually back for real. And we'll also watch and see what's happening with Caleb Plant going forward. And if he will come back. Hopefully he doesn't have this rematch with Jose Resendez, because Jose Resendez might just end your career, bro. Put it this way. Anyway, that's all for now. I'll see you guys in the next video.